Summer vacation here for many kids. Long gone now are the strict time constraints brought about by the school year. So how do you keep your kids on some type of schedule even though school isn't in session? Joining us with the answers is Marty Calder from Center to Counseling Services, and he's here for parenting tips.
Yeah.
Well, thank you very much for stopping by this morning.
problem.
Like we were saying, school is you're up at this time, you're done with school at this time, you're doing homework at this time, eating dinner at this time. That's gone now with summer, a little bit looser on the scheduling.
Right.
I guess, where do you start first with your kids and keeping them on some semblance of a schedule?
I think that's the key, is that there still should be some pretty typical time for getting up. You know, there's activities and things you do. You might go on vacation or visit relatives, and so you might stay up a little later or be out later than you typically would with kids. But yeah, they need to have a basic time of getting up, a basic time of going to bed, and that's a little later, and or a little later at night, and a little later in the morning as well. But something so that the kids know what to expect that way, because their sleep schedule is going to get off, and that's going to cause maybe some behavioral problems later on in your activities, and also it makes your life a little harder too if everybody's all over the place when they're getting up.
So after getting up, do you should you start them on chores, or how should you go about your day?
I think what a lot of times happens with parents is that they go totally away from whatever they did during the school year, and that's hard on everybody, because we're all kind of a scheduled kind of people. We've talked about that before, and so with kids having some expectations, now maybe they have a little bit more freedom to clean their room, and it's by 1 o'clock or 2 o'clock they have to have their stuff done. There's not as strict a regimen, but there's still some expectations there, helping around the house, doing stuff. And one of the nice things about the nice weather in the summer is that you can get the kids outside and do some fun things there, as well as do some work as well.
So one thing you mentioned earlier was vacations, and that in and of itself kind of throws a wrench into things with a kid's schedule. How can you kind of plan your vacation, and still have fun at the same time, but still maintain some of that scheduling?
I think the big thing is to you don't have to have like a drill sergeant schedule, but I think you really do need to account for how old your kids are, where you're going to go, if you're traveling by car, and account for the time that need to sleep, rest time, and that kind of stuff. Because what we have a tendency to do is we rush around, we drive all night to get to grandma's, and then we're like, man, Billy he's just a brat, today, and he's all over the place, and he doesn't like it, and or the kids are sick or doing other things that because they've had to adjust to different time zones. So having more of that schedule, and realizing that, hey, we still need to keep on some semblance of a schedule so the kids feel good about being there.
So one thing I noticed when I was growing up, some of my friends didn't have a schedule, but where my parents implemented, you mentioned the by a certain time, have all your stuff done. How do you kind of, not have your kids feel like they're getting slighted, or, kind of that resentment? Because I know I had it, because my friends were able to go do their stuff, but I was like, no, I got to finish my chores and whatnot.
And it's tough. I mean, kids are going to use whatever they can to get out of stuff, or to compare themselves. One of the things I always like to say is we don't know all the details of that family. They may look like they have all the free time in the world, but like I said, a lot of kids, most kids like some sort of schedule, so they know what's going to go on. They don't just like to be thrown out there to do whatever. And so, as a parent, being like, that's okay if he's doing that, but this helps us, and it helps your mom, or it helps you be part of our family, and to be that we're all contributing to the home. And maybe that family does something different, but this is what our family does.
So kind of illustrating the positives and letting them know that, hey, this is meaningful.
Right. We're not putting you in the salt mines. We just would like your room clean. That will help your mom out. That keeps our house nice, and your friends can come over and go to your room.
All right. Well, thank you very much for stopping by this morning.